We prepared for the final at home all week at Headingley. We trained. It was quite funny. We stuck to just training at Kirkstall all week. I thought we would have got out and about and been down at Headingley a bit, but obviously with the stadium being torn down, we stuck to our base at Headingley, Kirkstall, which was quite strange because Kirkstall's what caused us all the commotion in 2016. So to then have no Headingley to train at and just stick at Kirkstall was it was a good flip on the script, I suppose.
Preparing for the grand final is something that our staff at Leeds are really used to now. Jason Davidson's really used to doing that and getting the lads ready, and also keeping us in a state where we're anxious for it, but good anxious, good nerves and good energy for it.
The night before we stayed in I can't remember what it was called. It might have been a Marriott in Manchester somewhere, and when you stay over the night before, it's always pretty chilled anyway. You always have a bit of a meal together and a meeting, and then you just got the rest of the night to do whatever you want. We first got there and just had a walk to one of the coffee shops, a few of the lads, and I roomed with Ryan Hall, and I've roomed with him twice this year, and there's been a couple of times I've been put off. Joe Moon always put me off him, because I think Mooney always used to room with him and he always used to get out of it, and he said, it's terrible to room with but I didn't see no problems with him, to be honest. It wasn't too bad.
I roomed with myself because there's a few of us that got a bad reputation for being loud snorers and or pigs. I'm the loud snorer because I've had my nose broken a few times, so I roomed by myself.
Night before final, I prepared in usual fashion, just spend a lot of time with boys really. There's three things that I'm quite particular about. I'm not one of these routine type of guys. I don't believe in superstitions, because all superstitions is a permission slip to not play well if something goes wrong. So I do like to make sure I'm well hydrated, got some good food in me, and get some great sleep. So I had a plan to get to bed early. The great thing about game days, you've no rush to get up in the morning. I had Jordan Lillian with me, who's a Bramley boy. He's a bit of a wild card, but he's a great friend of mine, and somebody who I see as being like a bit of a little brother. I had a great night's sleep, and the boys, you could tell again, just went about their evening as if they were preparing for something special. And I remember we all went in a room, and we all spoke about what it meant to each individual, and moments like that are sacred and stay in those rooms. But there's some great things said, and you saw the maturity of lads like Brad Singleton.
I think me and Moons and Hawley usually the first at breakfast. So I was down at breakfast, I think just before 7, maybe even, yeah. I like to get up early and then go back and have a nap as soon as I can. Then we had a bit of a team walk around Manchester, but it didn't last long because obviously the conditions weren't great. It was good old sunny Manchester. No, it just rains every time I go down there. So we had a brisk walk, should I say?
The team walk, you might have thought, because it's the final that day, everyone might be a bit quiet and a bit nervous, but everyone was just normal. Everyone were laughing, having the normal banter what they have with each other, and we're just good time to be there.
We're right opposite the old Granada Studios in Manchester, so it's where they used to do Coronation Street. But David Dickinson was there performing some ITV show, probably auctioning something off, and there was a lot of people crowding about outside, some of which were rugby league fans actually, so they were shouting and bawling. But we had a walk around Manchester, probably a 20-minute walk, just to stretch our legs.
We had a team walk at about 11 a.m. And then apart from that, it's just chilling out really and resting up and trying to catch a bit of rest. But although you've got that much energy, it surpasses any normal game, so quite tough to do that. But it's all about keeping yourself composed and ready to go when 6 p.m. comes and it's kick-off.
On the bus on the way there, everyone has their own seats anyway, so you've always got the same people you sit with, and it wasn't too quiet, to be honest. You thought, no one's going to talk, they're just going to put their headphones in and not talk to each other, but everyone were pretty normal, just treating it like a normal game, and I thought that was the best way to go into it, to be honest. I think if you're going in, everyone's right nervous and quiet, even in the change rooms, to be honest, everyone were still having banter with each other. We had his music on, everyone were having a laugh on that until we know when to switch on for the right time.
So the journey to Old Trafford was a bit like the rest of the week. It was quite laid back. Other boys might say differently, but in my head everything was quite laid back, and it was just spent the week enjoying it, and nothing really changed when we got on the bus to go to Old Trafford. We just knew what we had to do, and we were so switched on that everything just came so naturally. We just got in there and did our thing, yeah.
Yeah, journey to Old Trafford, we get on the bus and everybody's got a water, and I think that's when nerves start piling in then, because you're going to war and there's no backing out. And it's a big stage. And it doesn't matter how many times you've played in big finals, big games, I think there's always this feeling of, it's not self-doubt, it's almost the fear of letting somebody down. The physical pain of playing rugby league is enough in itself, but it's nowhere near as big as the thought of missing a tackle or dropping a ball at a crucial moment and that having a big impact on the course of the game and the course of the team. And you're just thinking about your involvements, trying to imagine the kick-off and who you're going to tackle, what your job is on that particular evening. And I think it's counter-cultural as well, because we watch films, and in the Hollywood films somebody does some amazing backflip and a somersault and a chip over the top or some other ridiculous, impossible feat to win a game. That rarely, if ever, happens. I think the only time I've seen it happen is when Danny Maguire chipped over for Ryan Hall in that Aguero moment back in 2015. But the rest of the time, it's just doing your job in a really monotonous fashion. Just keep turning the ball around, knocking out your sets, and doing the little 1%ers really, really well, and just stifling the team. Winning finals is actually quite boring. So you've got to think about how you're going to perform quite boring. And I know in particular I can't do it skillful anyway, so my job is to just make the tackles, carry the balls, just keep talking and encouraging people. And people like Ryan Hall and Rob Burrow and Danny Maguire will come up with something amazing. And of course, I'm a big friend, really, really close to Stevie Ward, and just getting round in a little bit as well. Obviously, having dislocated his shoulder the week before, I just think it's amazing and immense for him to put his hand up to play, not just play 80 minutes in a grand final.
So the bus journey to Old Trafford is a lot more tense than any normal game. I think the fact that it's the last game and the last hurrah, or for Rob and Danny, and the last chance to do something special. It's a really tense kind of nervous affair really. And then when you're pulling up to Old Trafford and all the fans are surrounding where you enter the changing rooms, it's quite brilliant. It's quite brilliant. You're filled up with so much energy, and it's a special time, and you know that you've got something that you need to do that's big, and but there's so many people supporting it and supporting the game and what's going on. So yeah, it's quite a nervous bus journey, but they're special times. They're great times that you can't really replace.
So the noise in the tunnel was great, because I took my time to just take it all in. This time round, it was a lot better to just sit back and listen to it. And where we came out, the end of the field where we came out was just absolutely just full of Cass supporters, just all the way around. So they were just going wild when we was in the tunnel. And then when the front two boys of the line let out, it just went off. Yeah, it was crazy. The atmosphere, along with obviously the pyrotechnics that go on, was just brilliant.
That was the main bit I wanted to, I was most excited about, is being in the tunnel and then walking out and feeling the atmosphere. I made sure as soon as I was walking out, I was looking around everywhere and just to try and take it all in. I didn't want to be, because you hear a lot of people say, or when they've been there, they've not took it all in and it's gone too quick, so they can't really remember all about it. So I wanted to make sure that I took everything in, and I was looking around at the Cass supporters, at the Leeds supporters, just to try and make sure I remembered everything what was going on.
Waiting in the tunnel, like the personal experience for me is, I was just so fired up. I remember, just before we started the game, we came back in quite early from the warm-up, and we were in the changing room for about 10 minutes before we went back out to play. So we had that build-up and kind of almost a drop in, momentum, I guess, coming back in and not going straight back out. But I think it helped build up to that moment, lining up in the tunnel at the corner of the field at Old Trafford and cash coming out next to you, and you know, walking out, it's the noise is like almost on top of you. It's quite phenomenal, really. And thinking back, it is a bit of a blur because you're just so focused on what you need to do. And I think we were so focused on the performance we needed to do to win it. But it's, you know, it's some experience, and it's something that I think must feed into the energy of the game as well.